Who the hell are you?
You know. You all know exactly who I am. Now, say my name.
Hey, Mr. White.
I did not realize that was Mr. White back there.
Mr. White? What?
How you doing, Mr. White?
Mr. White? Okay, the mayor said he will meet with you.
Mr. White back there, American flag.
Mr. White.
My name is Mr. White.
How you doing today, Mr. Sexton?
Mr. White.
Mr. White?
Mr. White.
You're the man, baby, right?
You're damn right.
Yeah, Mr. White.
What's up, America? It's your favorite Monday morning quarterback, Mr. White, here today with the special edition, part 2 of Sheriff Woody Wallace. Remember, we left off him talking about he had better things to do and he needed to leave us alone. He's fixing to stop us on the sidewalk here and want to carry on another conversation, which is just a little bit longer than the last one. But remember, he's busy. He could be doing other things. And in fact, he kind of touches on that. But let's jump right into it.
You already got some.
Yeah, we just went and hit up the fountains at the courthouse.
So, let me ask y'all. And I'm just, serious. Cut all the games out just for a minute. Just for a minute. Just talk to me about what do you really intend, or what do you think you're gonna get out of this by going around and doing this to people? I'm serious. I'm not jacking around with you. I'm not trying to get. Just, but what is your actual intent?
Simply, the first thing that comes to mind is making sure that public officials and the public at large know that it's okay to hold a camera and go to government buildings.
I understand.
I'll take it a
But
step
do you
further.
not think, though, from time to time that you're interfering with actual police work? Do y'all not think
I
that
don't
you're?
ever interfere with police work.
But you do somewhat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, only
You do. You do
How?
somewhat because
it takes two to talk.
I understand, but we got jobs to do. And whenever it's like, and y'all didn't do it. It wasn't y'all. It was another group that came up here a while back, and they come up here and they was going all around the jail and they're out there and they started cussing my officers. Y'all didn't do that. Y'all were very respectful, and I appreciate that. But they were running around out there screaming and cussing at the officers and just really trying to pull strings. And at that point, rude and prudent people, a reasonable prudent
Did they
people
keep their cool? Did the officers keep their cool?
They did for the most part.
Okay.
They did for the most part.
All right. Well,
But,
then I guess they passed, huh?
Well, but here's the deal. When you have to have 4 or 5 guys show up when they can, what if somebody needs the police on the other side of town and they're all tied up here, having to deal with
Somebody who's not breaking
somebody
the law.
somebody that's not breaking the law, but you're wanting the police there, you won't interact with them instead of
So
just
if you
taking
don't engage them, then they don't get what they want and they go away. That's the long and short of it right there.
I mean, if we really just wanted to film,
If you didn't have time for an
just walk
interaction, you
into
wouldn't
your
talk to me.
office.
No, it's locked. You can't get in there.
Well, right now. Or is it?
It's magnetic
It's
lock,
space
dude.
lock.
Oh, okay, security. Okay.
I mean, you got too many things going on in this world. You got to understand the police are on hyper alert right now. I mean, I had somebody shoot that jail just the other day.
What
Okay.
the hell for?
I don't know. I mean, I got 40 little gals in there working dispatch, and someone shot my jail up. We didn't find out about the next day. We got a busted window over on the side. We got the shell case out here. We got chips and all that and rocks up there. So you got to understand, we're going to be on hyper alert. I've got these young ladies in there that's got kids, and my job is to protect them. Okay, and when someone, and I knew who you were when you got here because I'd already saw somebody sent me your picture and said, hey, he's going to be showing up. I said, whatever, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But the deal was, so I knew who you were, so I wasn't going to run out there. And had I not known who you were, y'all would have gone out there. So what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Because I am afraid for my people that work for me, okay? These people work hard, and they're not paid the best in the world, and they have a tough job, and they're already nervous, and they're already upset, and then someone comes up here and shoots at them. And then you got to understand, when someone that they don't know comes around with cameras, they get scared. And it's unnecessary scaredness that these people got to go
What?
through.
Okay, well, I'm glad they had a positive interaction. Now,
I
we
understand.
didn't get to meet your people because I thought that jail was closed.
Well,
I thought it was a maintenance shack.
No, it's got 7
Yeah,
inmates in it.
he was trying to tell me it's a maintenance shack, and I walked around that side, and I'm like, oh no, that's a yard.
It's got 7 inmates in there. We keep 7 there, and we keep the rest in Houston County. But
Hey,
when you want to go after the elected officials. I'm just saying, if you want to make a point with them, but the officers, these people are busting their butt. And listen, I understand there's rogue officers. I do. I don't believe anybody becomes a police officer to go bad. I think some bad. I think some officers. I think some bad people become officers.
There's evil
they
in
were
everyone.
bad. Yeah, exactly. They were bad to start with. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, you have to weed them out. Okay. And I know y'all got some guy that y'all were mad about that worked over here. As soon as I found out about it, I did an investigation. I can't. He's gone. He's been arrested. But that's in another county. And I'm not going into details on that.
That's fine.
But
I almost forgot about that. So the public records request that I was talking about,
Which one?
from Watson, was
I
asking
don't
about-
get the public record. They go straight to an attorney's office.
Okay, do you remember the officer that you fired before you promoted Lima to that? You fired somebody to promote Lima to that position. There was another canine officer that you
I
had,
haven't fired a canine officer.
a drug interdiction officer.
I don't have a drug interdiction officer. I think you got some wrong information. I remember seeing something about that. There was
Yeah.
nobody.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
There was nobody arrested, nobody fired for anything like that.
Okay.
I've
Yeah,
only
'cause
had
that story-
I've only had one, and I can promise you, if I hate drugs, I hate what they do to people.
Was Chris
I
City?
hate to see what
No,
they
he was
no, he worked
Green
for me.
County.
Oh,
I
okay.
hate what methamphetamines does to people. I hate going out to these little kids' house and parents are high as a kite. And these kids are running around with needles. Listen, that burns me up. It infuriates me and it makes me sick to my stomach to see this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
In that case, are the parents incarcerated and the children put in protective services?
We do everything we can legally that we can to put people where they belong. Now, when it comes to police officers, I'm not ever going to hide and say that this guy, I want the world to know he's a bad apple. I don't want nobody else to hire somebody that does that. Okay? I don't want the police officer to use drugs working for me. I don't want one that sells drugs, and I don't want one that's ever sold drugs. I'm not going to tolerate it, and I'm not going to hide him. I can assure you of that. I'm going to do I can to make an example out of him. But what he did not happen in my county. It happened in Walker County. Plain and simple. So it's outside. I initiated the investigation. I worked with the Rangers on it, and it's a done deal. But I have nothing to do with the rest of it.
Is he currently out on bond or is he incarcerated?
He's out on
I
bond.
think he's on bond. I don't know. I
He's
haven't
missed.
talked to him.
He's been called at the courthouse twice and missed both of them.
Again, I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping up with it. It's not my case.
Yeah.
I
No,
turned it over to the Rangers. Whenever I found out something was illegal happened, I turned it straight to the Rangers because I didn't want nobody to come back and say, you're covered up for something. Look, I liked him. I thought he was doing a great job. But obviously he was doing something else.
did you not get his complaints and everything from Polk County?
I was very upset about that. I called him. We did a thorough background on him from everybody he ever worked.
Yeah, because we don't. I mean, the records that we have are so many black lines. It might as well just printed it on black paper.
Well,
But it's 400 pages.
Yeah,
So
I went and helped him pick that up from the post office, man. I saw those records. They were completely redacted. Might have a page number at the bottom, but there's a sheet of paper over the entire report.
and when did you hire him? You know,
man, I don't even
well, it was before last year.
remember. He probably worked a little over a year, I think. Maybe.
So it would have been Hammock's office that would have been responsible.
Everyone he's ever worked, we called. We're required by law.
Well, I'm just saying the sheriff over
But
there
the problem
at that time.
is you got to realize too. I don't like bad cops, but here's the problem, and this is where you want to focus some energy, makes a difference. Bad cops make us all look bad. They do. They make us look horrible. Okay, but whenever I fire somebody, and I put on their record that they were a bad cop, and they get a lawyer and they go fight it, Austin
Well, they don't even have to
overturn
get
it
a lawyer.
every single time.
Yeah, companies like Cleat or I don't know what the East Texas one is, but they
So
You're talking Rangers?
the
No,
unions.
no, no, no.
I'm talking about Tico.
Oh,
You have a
Tico,
judge.
okay.
You have a hearing. You have a hearing that everybody. It's
For
just
your
like a
commission.
trial, and then we have to go there and prove that they did something wrong or they did this or whatever we fired them for. If they fight, if I give them a bad F5, and F5 is the separation. I've heard of it. Okay, so whenever I put on the reason why we fire them, if they don't like that, they can
They can
dispute it.
appeal it.
And we have to answer for it. And again, we have to waste a lot of time
Yeah.
preparing everything, sending everything over to them, getting there, and I have to get
Is
attorneys
that
involved.
attorney at their expense or is it end up going to be the county's
It's
expense?
going to be
On my end, it's my expense. On the county's expense. On their end, it's their expense.
Okay.
Unless they got some sort of insurance. But I don't even know that the insurance will cover that kind of stuff.
the
So-
unions would cover it, right?
Huh?
The unions.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't deal with that kind of
So are
stuff.
you saying Tico doesn't believe in accountability?
It's not Tico
No.
so much. It's the process to. It's not Tico. It's not Tico at all. But it's the
There's too
hearings
many
they got to go
cracks.
through. You go to a separate court. I don't remember what the court's even called. It's SOA, I believe. The acronym is SOA. So you have to go through them, and then they have a hearing, a judge. I mean, it's just like a trial, and you have to present evidence and say all this stuff, and you got to give them all that stuff. I mean, the deal is, I've never had one overturned, but so many other people I've talked to said they have. That whenever they said, man, it doesn't matter. We have all the proof that we needed to fire this person legitimately and say that they're a bad apple, and then the state come back in and said, you got to change it. You got to change it to an honorable discharge, which means that they are. So the next person they go to, they see it. Oh well, Sheriff Wallace gave me an honorable discharge when I didn't.
Right.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of crap. That's why we end up with bad officers.
Yeah, but sometimes it is a.
You know, if you're good officers of that cop that you know is good, is working with that bad officer, he should be empowered to report that bad officer's misconduct without fear of retribution.
Mine will. Mine will. Mine will. We're not gonna. I don't play that game. Look, I'm about as old-fashioned as you can get. Okay.
Sure.
I believe everybody ought to have a gun. If they legally can acquire one, I've got no problem with it. I have no problem with somebody walking down the street with a gun all day long. Okay.
Sounds good.
I want every law-abiding American citizen to own a gun. I want them to get training to carry a gun, because there's a lot of people that you know and I know that don't need that gun ran, right? But if they can legally acquire one, I want them to have one. All right, because I never know when I'm going to need help.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
So if I know you're going to be on my side and I get to shoot that over, I would love to know that you're going to be able to take that guy out.
And I absolutely would.
Well, and
let the law figure it out.
Well,
but what I don't want to do is charge with interfering because I was trying to help an officer.
Not in this county, you won't.
Okay.
Not if you're doing the right thing. All right. First of all, I got a great DA. I got a great county attorney. We don't try to ruin people. We do try to help people. For instance, when someone gets on drugs,
That's something I was going to ask you about, because you mentioned that earlier.
yeah. Now rehabs don't work. Okay, rehabs don't work. Now when I bring them over here to my jail, we have a work program. Now the COVID thing screwed it all up, and jails are stopped up. I mean, we used to keep a lot of inmates over in San County, but now papers can't even keep his jail open because he can't hire enough people. You know what I'm saying? So we keep all of them in Houston County, and then we keep some here. But our jail program is where we would go out and we would they would work, right? I mean, we'd take them out, they work, pick up trash, and they would have us. They work 6 days a week, and then they would walk across the street over there. They'd go to church, Brother Jones' church on Sundays, and they would be a part of that church, and those people would bring them in and didn't treat them any. They would go in there in orange, but those people would treat them no different. They would, cook them meals, and then these guys would help them, bring stuff out to their cars or whatever, and they would come back over here and they go to church back in the evenings, and then but they ate right. They got a garden. We let them, they grow their own food, so they ate right. You're not going to eat junk. You're going to eat right. You're going to sleep good. You're going to work hard, and if you want to, you're going to go to church on Sundays. And if you continue that when you get out of here, guess what? You're not coming back.
Yeah.
And that's worked for a lot of them. It has. It really has. I mean, there's some that keeps coming back, and there's some that get out for 4 or 5 years and they end up coming back. But I can't tell you how many of them come back up here and say, man, I appreciate what you did for me. I appreciate you getting in my ass when I was screwing up, because I'd be dead now. Okay? My DA has got the same philosophy. My county attorney's got the same philosophy. I think y'all went in there and met him because he's like, hey, call over here. And he's one of the county attorneys. Said, hey, I don't know what these guys are. They seem like they're not causing any problems, but I said, I think I know who they are. But anyways, but they're great. They're great people, and they do a wonderful job, and they do a great job of trying to help people first. Now, after the 3rd or 4th time, we're going to put you in prison where you need to be. Okay, now for heinous crimes, you're going to prison.
Right. Yeah.
I can't hurting children. I can't stand. You're going to hurt a child, we have a huge problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Children and women?
I'm sorry?
Children and women?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. But I'm just saying, anybody.
I'm not for this whole, we're all equal. I know they.
No, you said something earlier, and I have been a great spokesperson about this, as I've told, because divorces always end up in accusations.
Mm-hmm.
We're not stupid.
Yeah.
We sit down and talk to the kid. We sit down and talk, and you can tell when that kid's been coached.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so sick, and it's mainly women on men, but there's been other times they come in there and they coach this kid to make all these accusations. You know it's a lie. Mm-hmm. And I've told me, if we can prove it,
Yeah.
I want that person put in jail for making a false report to us, and I want them to see a
I'm glad to
very
hear that,
serious
too.
punishment
Exactly.
because it's wrong.
Yeah,
and
it
I told
is.
people, and I told my guys, because I've had some guys, oh my, this kid is claiming, this, and I'm like, hold on, we're not talking about that. We're going to investigate it thoroughly. We're going to make sure there is 100% proof before we go out there and make that accusation. That man or that woman has done this to that child, because once you make that accusation,
Yeah, there's no even
50% of the population thinks you did it.
Yep.
Okay.
At least.
But when a man goes into a courtroom and confesses to it, he does not deserve probation. And that's happened. And I have a problem with that.
That's a broken judicial system.
That is not right. If you confess to it, you said, I did it, I forcefully raped this girl, or forcefully raped this woman, or forcefully raped this man, or this child, you need to go to prison. There's no probation. Now that's my belief, and you can differ with me, and I respect everybody's opinion as well. I'm not going to get mad at you because your opinion is different with mine. I'm not going to get mad at you because, here's the funny thing about politics and elected people, and everybody thinks you're crazy for saying this, but I voted for several people I don't personally like. I have voted for people that I personally don't like because I knew they would do the job, and I have not voted for people that were my friends, because I knew they wasn't going to do a good job. And I don't want somebody sitting in that office not going to do their job. Now, is everybody perfect for the job? Am I the perfect sheriff? Absolutely not. I know I'm not perfect. I know I don't do the best job that could be done. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and try to bullshit anybody and lie to them. I've got just as many flaws as anybody else, but I'm not a criminal. I'm not an outlaw, and I don't condone it. And I'm not going to. I make mistakes with my kids every day. I got a bunch of kids. Love my kids. They're the greatest thing since, my job is the good Lord put me in this position because I didn't want it. I'm a businessman. All right. I'm not a politician. So you think, well, you're rude. I'm not a politician. I don't go out there.
You were a little
well,
abrasive.
And I probably
Just
was.
a little abrasive.
Well, defensive, probably.
I'm gonna step over here and light a cigarette.
But whenever I don't go around shaking hands, kissing babies, and lying. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I tell you how I feel. I love the kissing babies, and I tell you the way it's supposed to be. Now, I've been proven wrong a couple times, but not often. But I've been proven wrong, and I don't mind admitting, hey, I was wrong. Dude, I'm sorry. Made a mistake. But there's one thing I can say that I have never done that I am 100% positive of in my heart is I've never arrested the wrong person. I've never had a falsely accused person go through this jail under my watch. I will do everything I can to never let that happen. Because once you taking somebody's civil liberties away to me is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Arresting somebody is a huge thing. There's lots of people that I've said, you fix to go to jail, and I could have put them in jail 100 times.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just completely ruin it. You know what I'm saying? Because once you arrest somebody, and our problem over here, and this is, we got a small jail. We don't have enough money to pay all these people. So misdemeanor crime, there's not a lot of punishment over there for it. You get it, you go either get on probation or you pay some fines or whatever. If I could take some of these young ones and put them in my work program for 6 months for a Class B or Class A misdemeanor and keep them from graduating to a felony, it would be great.
Yeah.
But Trinity County's not had that luxury in forever. Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully when we build a jail, some of these young kids, when they screw up the first time, we can take them and put them in jail for a little while. Let them spend a little jail therapy, as I like to call it. Let them go out and work a little bit. Let them get back in a structured environment, a routine. That maybe we can keep them from graduating felons. And that's what I'm trying to do. But if you'll go look, and y'all can do this. This is really easy. And if y'all watch me close, you're watching my Facebook page. Look at the arrests that we make in the county, because we post every one of them on Nixle. It goes through Nixle, and I share it to my post. But look at the when I got in office back in 2000. I was constable first, then I took the sheriff's office in 2013. But if you'll go back and look, you'll see lots of young guys getting arrested, and lots of them. And then it started to taper up where they're older and older and older. So the young kids are not going back into it. We started the Don't Mess With Me program, which we're educating kids, why you don't do drugs, blah blah blah.
Very good.
Don't ever use meth, and all that good stuff. So. So everybody, and my whole point is everybody over there, they try. I've got good officers, and when I got a bad one, I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to hold them accountable. You can rest assured about that. I don't have the final say-so on what happens,
Right.
Okay, and I really, once it goes past them getting arrested, we don't have any say so. I mean, I can make my recommendation.
But you can not hire him back if
No.
he wins his suit, right?
Well, exactly. But
I think most officers, once they're accused of something like that, in that, because the whole department's gonna, it's gonna taint everybody's feelings towards you. So they're not gonna come back to the same department.
Sheriff
Anyway.
Woody, I appreciate the conversation.
Well,
man. I think
and
I'm
that's
just about
all-
out of water
that-
again. I think I'm gonna have to go back and get some more before we can get out of here.
hey, Miss Oakland, how are you?
But that's all we're asking from you, all.
But I'm glad we got to change it. I know
Well,
that.
me too, but
Yeah,
if y'all would
me
come
too.
up and kind of do that first, it probably would go better for you than
Right.
everybody going, oh my God. Because like I said, everybody's on hyper alert. Everybody's on, are you tricks to come up here and shoot me? Or do you got a gun on you? Got a knife? You gonna try to stick me?
I used to carry a cannon.
So, and again, I have no problem with that, but when you walk up here, and I don't know, most of the people in this community I know, and I
Right.
know who the criminals are, but there's one thing we don't have a lot of in this county is violence. You'll notice that it's mostly thieves trying to feed the drug habit. That's what the majority of them
Yeah.
are. And then now we have an unusual amount of sex offenders to get out of prison and move here, and I ain't figured that out yet. I can't figure out why, because we check them monthly. And
It's so sparse. They're able to get away from everybody.
Rental properties or
I don't know. I mean, some of them are, but and this,
you know where B-Dice is?
Yeah.
They had a guy out there, some developer, whatever he wanted to call himself. He could sell property sight unseen on the internet, and that town filled up full of pedophiles and shit like that.
And that's
There's
the guy-
Daryl Hall.
Okay.
Daryl Hall.
yes, sir. So, who?
Let's see if I got a cigarette.
Let me go you right back.
Well, we're going to leave. We just wanted to talk to you and glad that it turned this way. And glad
I
that
need
you
to
did
because,
that.
like I said, I've seen some of this. You and I are not too far off on some of the stuff you're talking about. You really,
Well, I'm sorry if anything
I'm
I've posted
conservative.
lately.
No, it's all right. I'm conservative, but I'm not. I want the proper words off. I'm a very conservative person. I believe in the Constitution, 100%. I don't like some of our laws. I don't like the way some of the laws are enforced, and I don't like the way we don't have some laws not being enforced.
Right.
And, but it is what it is, and we deal with it on a daily basis to see what we can do to fix it.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad y'all are not like the other ones that showed up. I didn't get to deal with the other ones that showed up. I guess the term is auditor. I don't know, FirstAmendment auditor.
Photojournalists.
There's some out there that are just strictly trying to cause problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all of
We
them.
don't necessarily like those guys if they give us a
And-
bad name. Like
and-
here, we walked up here, you would assume that we were with that group
Yeah,
or
everybody did.
just like
So I don't. They come up here a couple months ago, and the police chief at the time, they did kind of rattle him up, and rattled him up a little bit, got him upset. And but he left, and they finally went away. But it just when everybody's got to come over here and leave from other parts of the county to come figure out what's going on because an officer says, "Hey, I may need some help." It's
Yeah, and I can see. I think it was like 5 people, I believe. Right.
yeah, it's a bunch of them. Just a bunch of them, and they were being very rude. And they didn't show what they did. That's why I come out with video camera because they. It's like Trump said at one time, when you take a little bit of this, you take a little bit of this, and I can make you look really bad. But if you see the whole,
was Fort Worth in that group?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? She sounds like she's pissing somebody off when she's trying to be nice.
Yeah.
There's something about
I'm
her
gonna have to
voice.
edit that out now.
Well,
Thank you.
we're not trying to cause trouble. We want to make a difference.
Well,
Because there are bad ones that need to be held accountable because they
but
violate
find
people's
those
rights.
bad ones and then go after them. Don't just go after everybody. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, if we're just recording in public, it shouldn't be.
No, it's
shouldn't
not.
bother
But
anybody.
it's the way you do it. Because when you go up there and you start kind of looking into jail, or you go up to a car and you start looking in it, it's alarming. It's alarming, and it's going to be alarming to especially young cops that have no idea what's going on.
I wouldn't have any alarm about that whatsoever if I was in your position until they tried to start pulling the door
Well,
handle and trying to
Hey.
We're
Yes and
doing
no.
something wrong.
yes and no. I mean,
actually doing
you
something
gotta
wrong.
understand. It's just like the same. That's like a home. Most of the time.
Except it was paid
And
for
then
by
you got
public dollars.
I understand, but there's things in there that can't be accessed by the public. You know what I'm saying? Everything about that vehicle we're responsible for.
Right.
So if you go
You're talking like
now,
privacy
look,
and security.
well, first of all, and I don't want this out there, so don't go post this because I don't want everybody trying to do it. But we've had people, yeah. Well, I'm not trying to give criminals an idea, but listen, we've had our lug nut solutions before, okay, and that's not getting in the vehicle. That's just going up over there, looking at somebody, looking, jump down, and moving. We've had that happen. I've had our tires, nails put behind our tires up here where the officer drives off and they get flat. When he's going 100 miles an
Do you
hour
have
to
cages
a pole.
welded around your catalytic converters?
No, well,
What is that going to do?
well,
They
we
come
do-
out there to cut the stuff off with freaking saws.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're going to be out there 3 times longer cutting through the rebar
Sure.
to get
Well,
to it.
but you know, we watch the video cameras pretty strong now, and we're getting more. So we're watching anybody that comes out there now because we've had that. I mean, we've had people go up there and try to steal stuff out of the trucks before, you know, and
Well, they really want to go to jail if they're breaking into the sheriff's truck.
well,
Exactly.
you said the word earlier that I use a lot. It's called PV.
Yeah.
There's such a thing in our world that, you know,
Yeah, big pharma.
it's
There's a lot
The
of.
most evil thing on the planet
but
right
that's
now.
not all of it. I mean, yeah, there's more people that we deal with now that are
These
addicted
people
to
got strung
pain.
out on oxy and shit before they started doing meth.
Oh, I
and
understand.
crap like that.
I understand. I had open heart surgery 3 years ago, and they went. And the strongest thing I took was Tylenol, and I was on a couple of days. I said, I don't want it
Yeah.
because I don't want to get addicted. And I've seen people get addicted to it, and they innocently get addicted to it. You know, the doctor said take it until they do, and the next thing you know, they can't function without it.
Yeah.
Now, meth and heroin, all that kind of stuff, you know, that's their own fault. But there's a lot of innocent people that get hooked on pills, and it's hard to get off that crap when they get on it.
All right, we can leave this out too. But what is your feeling on marijuana? I noticed that you got a video out where you busted a huge.
Well, first of all, let me explain
And I
what
know
they
it's
were
illegal
doing.
now.
No, it's not legal. Hemp is
No, I
legal.
said illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, here's the problem with marijuana. The marijuana that they're growing is not a low THC. It's like 23, 24% stuff. It's really high THC. It's not the 3%. Hemp's got to be, I think, less than 3%. So your marijuana, you know, everybody says, oh, it's not true, but marijuana causes a lot of problems. First of all, I've never gone to a society where everybody just wouldn't land around smoking dope, not going to work. I don't want that to happen to this country. You know what I'm saying? Medicinal marijuana, I don't have a problem with it, but it's not. How many doctors have you ever seen said this will cure you smoking?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Almost every cancer doctor.
They're not smoking it to cure it.
No.
They're smoking it to alleviate the
effects.
side
I know
effects.
my ex is a cancer
And that's a
survivor.
different story. What I'm talking about is just these kids staying at home at 14 years old, smoking pot, playing video games. Now, those guys were not here legally, number one. Number two, they were tearing these houses up that they bought, but they hadn't paid for it, the mortgage. So you don't have the right to go in there and tear everything out of it. It's supposed to stay the same.
Yeah.
Third thing was they were stealing electricity. They went in behind the weatherheads, and those houses that were running 5 ACs, 5 air conditioner units, and every fans like crazy, were running about a $20 a month electric bill on burning thousands of kilowatt hours. Wow. So they're growing this stuff and they're stealing from the taxpayers. They're stealing, making your electricity go up. They bought these houses and they destroyed them.
Yeah.
So am I going to, the law is it's illegal and I'm going to enforce the law the rest of it. If they come in here and they change the law, say it's not illegal no more, I'll deal with it. I mean, we'll deal with this. I'm not going to scream and cry and throw a little fit. I'm going to educate my kids to stay off of it because I don't want my kids on it.
Absolutely.
But it is a gateway drug. I don't care who says otherwise. It's a gateway drug. Everybody I've ever put in that jail over there, I've talked to every one of them. I sit down and I have conversations with people, like I'm having with y'all. After the detention's over with,
Yeah.
even the ones I arrest, I sit down with them and we have a conversation. And I say, you know what, why do you do this? And a lot of them, they started with marijuana, and it just wasn't doing the job, so they went on to something stronger, something better. And that's where they get on the drugs. Now, I don't. So the weed part, legalizing it, I don't want to see it legalized, but I'm not going to scream and holler if they do.
Right.
You
But
know,
you think it would still be a gateway drug if it was legalized?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like alcohol.
I take the fun out of rebellion. And
Well,
all of a
yeah.
sudden, it's not very,
Fun.
attractive
I mean,
anymore.
would you agree that cigarettes are worse than marijuana?
Oh, absolutely. And I've never tried marijuana in my life. Never tried it. I just never wanted to. It just, the smell of it, my office, it smells horrible in there. When you open the door, you can smell it because we're cleaning out the evidence like we're throwing all the old stuff away. It's horrible. It's nasty. The smell of it makes me sick.
You said it's some good stuff. Can I take a sniff?
Now, that stuff's gone. I take it you like to smoke weed. Again, that's your business.
Hey, like I said,
don't do it around me
my
real
ex
good.
is a cancer survivor.
And I understand there are times where you need that. No problem with that. I wouldn't want to see somebody sit there and stuff with me.
I know what the good stuff smells like.
Well, now that stuff that they were growing out there, you could take that bud and squeeze it, and it was oily. I mean, it was powerful stuff, man. I mean, it didn't stick together. But we had that stuff. I mean, they had. But those guys that were working it, they're gonna probably kill them guys.
Yeah.
They're from Cuba, and I don't know. I was told it's Mexican cartel possibly that had this going on. I don't know if there's such thing as a Cuban cartel, but I suppose there might be. But these guys, I feel sorry for them. They're almost right. Yeah, their family's gonna get killed or something like that. But I can't sit back and let them grow that when you can smell that stuff from here to jail.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I bet there was a tip from a neighbor because
I'd already gotten some tips, and we were looking at them. We already found all the houses that we were going to go knock on doors and knock on doors. You can smell it outside. But a guy that was working in the neighborhood, he was down the road. He kept smelling it. He called and said, "Hey, they got something wrong going on out here. It's pretty bad." And he kind of got scared. He's like, "But I just come up on some kind of road." And this is a neighborhood where a bunch of kids are out playing in the creeks and all that stuff. You don't want little kids. And these guys run around with machetes.
A bunch of illegal aliens.
Yeah, well, and I don't think those guys were necessarily dangerous, but the people they associate with are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I didn't want these. So you get them out of here. You don't want that crap here. Now, if they say it's legal to go out there and start throwing stuff out there in the field, hey, do it. I don't care.
I think you can already.
Hemp. You can hemp. There's a guy here in town he's doing a hemp operation. I don't think he's growing it yet, but he's manufacturing the oil. Okay. He come by here and talk to us. And, hey, this is what I'm doing. I just want you to know. I say, hey, it's legal as long as you stay within the guidelines. No problem from us. But these people aren't paying taxes. All of that money's taxed. You and I are working, paying our fair share of taxes, and these guys are not. And they had
So did you hit them in harvest, or do they still have them in the ground?
Some of them, no.
It was in houses.
Some of the houses were ready. I mean, they were ready. One of the houses, when we started on this house, I didn't know there was all 10 of them out there. So when we hit this house, it was like, okay, I know there's more, but my deputies kind of stumbled upon it. I didn't tell them that I was watching them and looking at them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when one of the guys came up on it, oh, we got a big find coming. This is on a Friday afternoon, like 4 o'clock. I'm like, jeez, if we just waited till Monday to do this. Now they know, we know. So they're going to start getting rid of it. So we had to go in there and start dealing with it. And by the time we got to the 10th one, they done cleaned that sucker out and gone.
Yeah.
And they disappeared in the middle of the night. And because it was just too much manpower. I got DPS up here. They brought several people. Game wardens helped me. There was a bunch of us, and we couldn't get it all that quick. But no, and then the stuff stayed in here. We had to dry it out. So we had to take it to a big barn and dry it out before the feds come in and they package it all up. And we had it here. Everybody in here was like, "You got to get that crap out of here." It was strong stuff.
It's time to have a fire.
Yeah, well, we took it to BPS.
Real quick, just one last question.
Yeah.
Lima, you turned it over to the DPS because you could,
About the Rangers.
the Rangers. They had it for about a month. Is that correct?
Had what for about a month?
The case.
The case.
They were investigating. How long was their investigation, would you say, before they...
I don't know. I can't remember. It seemed like it was a little more than a month. It seemed like it was going a little longer than that. I can't really get into the facts of it. It was a pretty lengthy investigation.
Well, my only problem with that is, a month-long investigation by the Rangers, and they got him for conspiracy. They didn't even catch him with anything.
Well,
they didn't get a search warrant for his house. They didn't get a search warrant for his vehicle.
I don't. What did you think he was doing?
I think he was dropping off and picking up something in a parking lot.
I read, I can't go into the facts. Yeah. The facts will come out. And you'll see more, but it's not quite like you think. Now, I don't know if other things were going on other times. Yeah. Because I've heard all the rumors after this. People started calling me and go, well, hey, and I'm like, didn't know. Yeah. So, but I don't think the facts are quite like you hear them or what you think they are. But it'll come out.
Well, I read it's from the Walker.
Blue Bonnet News?
No, Walker County, the courts over there.
Oh.
What I read, it was talking about his.
Well, they're not gonna let you see the whole reports and stuff.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
Well, they just mentioned his camera. He pulled up at a spot. There was one cup there, and then the second cup showed up when he left. And from what I read in that it was a very small little piece. I don't know. It just kind of bothers me they didn't,
Just wait till it all comes out, and you'll get more.
Because there might be some we don't.
So
know
it's not just a conspiracy to commit the crime. It may just been just a.
Well,
just because that charge is so.
I understand what you're saying.
Technically, he could be an officer somewhere else with that charge on his jacket. T. Cole is holding his certification right now because of the investigation, but technically, if they didn't do that, he could go work at another department.
I don't know. I think before you start making a big scene about it, see where the chips fall first.
Well, I mean, I know that twice he's been called.
Twice he's been called.
Yeah, he had 2 court dates that he.
He don't live in my county.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't show up for anyone.
Okay, so I don't know nothing about that. No one said anything to me about that part. So. And again, that's the DA. Now, the DA over at Walker County is pretty strong, so I wouldn't think he's going to just sit back and allow anything.
And who's your DA here?
Penny Shiro.
Okay.
Penny Shiro. And he's a great guy, and he does the right thing. So he's a good guy.
Does Travis Kitchens have an office up here, or is it in Polk?
He does office down at the very end.
Okay.
But
I was just wondering.
Of course, he's got 3 counties, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think my lead on?
I like Lee. I think he's a strong prosecutor, and I've had a lot of dealings with him.
You can't ask him that. He's a public official. He can't,
Yeah.
I like the guy. I mean, I don't have really any beef with anybody in the office. Now there are some, like I told you earlier, I voted for people that personally like, and I've had people come to me and say, you know what, I don't like you.
You think he can do the job of judge, though?
Do what?
You think he can do the job of judge? He's got a pretty shit track record here on his prosecutions. Well, he has more drop cases than anybody else in Texas.
When you say a drop case, what do you think?
Well, sometimes law officers or the courts know they don't have a good, strong case, so they stack a bunch of charges on top, and then they start pleading down. Well, we'll drop this case if you cop to this, or we'll drop this case if you cop to that. Well, and that's how he gets his
I can't speak for that, but I do know there are times when you go to trial, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. I mean, it costs the taxpayers a lot of money. And a lot of trials are set up for the defense attorneys to make money. Okay? Because they're making enough our money. They're making enough our tax dollars.
I think he tries a lot of cases that he knows he can't win, but he's going to find something to get you for, so he can save his.
I've never seen that in him. I don't think he's a vindictive person at all. But I do think that. I think he can handle the job. I'm not against him. I think that he's.
Have you had any problem with the job that Kitchens has been doing?
Well, you mentioned that a lot of people get out on probation.
There's a lot of very leniency
Yeah.
on some of that stuff, and that does concern me a little bit. I know Travis personally. I think he's a great guy. I do like him, but in this particular race, I think Leon needs to be overall. I think he'll do a better job as a judge. He's going to put down punishments now. Again, an election is based on what everybody hopefully knows, not what they hear, not what they assumption. That's not something that I really like taking lightly as elections. I think that everybody ought to get up there and tell your platform and tell you who I am, what I stand for, and not bullshit you. Okay? Because so many people get up there and they lie and they get in office and do total opposite. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I just, everybody's got their specific job, and they need to get in there and do it.
So if Leon becomes the judge, is Tommy Coleman going to become DA?
I don't know.
He's running, but he's got opponents.
I don't know.
He does have opponents.
So it depends on the election.
If Coleman was the DA and Hahn became the judge, because Coleman is a disciple of Leon, essentially.
Well, again, I don't know all the players.
The DA-ADA relationship, I understand it's got to be like that, but if he was to become DA, I think it would be dangerous because I still think they would be playing politics in the two highest offices almost in the county.
Well, I hope that don't happen.
Let's hope not, man. It's going to be a lot of rights violations.
But you can't just sit up there and violate people's rights and it don't come down. It's going to come down. I mean, judges don't have. I mean, they got immunity, but the ultimate deal is the voters are going to take you out if you're not doing the right job. But there's also a judicial conduct committee. There's a judicial conduct. They can remove judges, and they do it. I've seen them do it. So I mean, if you get too far out of line, they're going to come in there. I mean, they're pretty strict on that kind of stuff, man. The judges have a very straight line they got to walk. They're very easy. That's probably the easiest job to get somebody removed out of than anything else as a judge. Because if they do the wrong thing, that judicial conduct committee will come down on party, and they're gonna kick them out.
Yeah.
I mean, they will remove them. So, and I don't know how all that works, and I'm not a judge, so I don't really want to get into it. But I just know when I go to the courtroom, I don't want to see. I don't want to see bail bonds just reduced to nothing for no reason. I think certain people, I know everybody's entitled to a bond. But certain people need to stay there for a while. They need to be there for a while.
Jail therapy.
They need some jail therapy, and hopefully they won't go to prison. But when you have, I don't think a judge ought to be the one to decide. And I think if a DA says I want 15 years, I think it needs to be 15 years. I don't think the judge ought to have the right to go in there and say lower it. I don't think the judge should say, okay, well, no, I'm gonna say 5 years. I don't think that should happen because let me tell you why. Because in a small town like this, now in bigger cities that may not work, but in a small community like this, I give them plenty of breaks. Okay, don't warn me about that. I've gone to drug dealers' houses before that I did not have the evidence to arrest them on. But I went to the front door, I knocked on them, and I said, "Here's the deal. I know what you're doing. All I want you to do is stop. But if you don't, I'm coming back."
Yeah.
And if you've seen some of my videos, I've gone and I kicked your door in and I said, "I told you last week I was coming and here you still dealing." "Yes, sir, I'm sorry." But it's happened. You know what I'm saying? It's happened.
Yeah.
So we give them breaks here, number one. And then when it goes to the DA's office, there are certain breaks by law he's required to give them. There are certain that they're required to get probation. The first offense. And we work with them the best they can. And the younger they are, the more we try to work with them. Or if it's their first time to get in trouble, the more we try to work with them. Okay. The more we try to keep this off their record, the more we're going to try to prevent them from losing their job and becoming unproductive in society. So we do that. We do it here on the street level, and then it goes to the court level there. So I don't think we need a third person going in there after I get my break and he's getting my break. I don't think I need somebody else in there going, it shouldn't happen because we've already done it. The judge needs to be completely neutral. I mean, not neutral.
Impartial.
Impartial. I'm sorry. No. That's where they need to be. They don't need to be on either side. They don't need to say, well, I feel sorry for this kid, I'm going to give
They're
it 2
judges
years.
to hear the facts of the case and
Well,
tell the jury what to say.
and if you've seen the jury in this county, they're tired of crime. Because Trinity County's been crime ridden for a long time, okay? And it's, like I said earlier, and I don't think I got to finish my story, if you go look at statistics in Trinity County, the crime rate has dropped tremendously in this county. Violent crime's gone to near to nothing. Burglaries, when the first year I was in office, we took 130 or 140 burglary reports. Now we get maybe 30 or 40 a year. And it's always normally one guy's committed 3 or 4 or 5 of them, if not 10.
Right.
You know, we catch him, we stop him, we shot him off.
You catch him for one, and you find stuff from 8
Right,
places
exactly.
in his house.
So, you know, it's all about when you're in office doing the right thing, which is what y'all want everybody to do. And it's no argument here. That's what needs to happen. And you do get some bad people in there. You do. But there's evil people everywhere.
Well, I hope we were able to enlighten you as to we're not all like that first claim.
No, I have. And I said, I'm glad we had this conversation. I mean, I don't want anybody mad at me. I don't want anybody hating on me. I don't want anybody, you know, I don't care what people say about me. I've had people talk bad about me all the time. It don't hurt my feelings. I know it comes with the territory. I've got thick skin, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't want people basing their opinions on lies about me.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you're gonna say it, say
I've
the
never heard a
truth.
word about you. I didn't know your name. I didn't know you were sheriff when I knocked on the door.
Are you from St. City County?
I am, but why did you assume that right off the bat?
Because you were with him.
Well, he's not from San Jacinto County.
You got something over in St. City County. You're the guy that called me. What is your real name? Brandon?
Yeah.
Brandon?
Nothing in San Jacinto County though.
Huh? Some
I've
reason I
done
thought
one
you lived in
video
St. City
there. It
County.
was
Did you get arrested over there or something?
Sam Houston. No,
Who was that that got arrested?
that was
I thought
Polk County.
that
You got
was you.
arrested in San Jacinto?
Somebody got arrested over there somewhere for doing something like this. I don't know. Going and trying to get my cop car.
It's Polk County.
Was that you?
That first SUV right there has its doors unlocked.
Yeah.
If I come from that side and I walk over there and open that door, it's not illegal. Now,
No.
if you have the signs up, it would be illegal because it's trespassing already.
Yeah. I see.
And then the criminal intent's there because I've already.
Are you the one they arrested over there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, I had them contact the officers. I already knew they were on a traffic stop.
Yeah.
I stopped in, talked to dispatch, and had them let them know that I was there when they were done over the traffic stop. And then I walked over to City Hall and I waited till they came back around.
Right.
And when the officer came up, he parked behind the vehicle and came around. He asked, "What's up?" And I said, "Well, this vehicle's unlocked." And I pulled the handle and then closed it. And they charged me initially with burglary. They've dropped it now. They're saying interference.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is in Dieball, that vehicle didn't have anything in it. In Dieball, I went up there. They had a car kind of like your little Ford car there.
Yeah.
There was an AR in it, in the little gun case, which if you go online, those are things they're crap. We as a taxpayers got screwed on those things. I mean, they're nice, they look good, but they really don't secure
They don't
it.
secure anything.
If you're already breaking in, it's really not
Your
secure.
intent is to break the law.
And that
it's
car
all
was
messed up.
unlocked with an AR in it. And I told the officers,
Dieball was great.
well, no, we told the officers and they just went back inside. The second visit was good.
Second visit.
And I'm like, I'm sure it was loaded. AR in there. In that car, it's unlocked. They had a kind of same system you have here where you could come at it from the other side. There was multiple
Points of entry.
points of entry to the property. And so somebody looking to do something nefarious, that's something that,
They need to address.
Their department, I'm not going to make judgments on.
Well,
I wasn't there. I don't know the situation, but I'm going to do my best to secure everything here and keep it secured.
Well, that's why I let you know that front one right there.
Boy, that's broke down. It's broke
I mean,
down.
there's still probably
It won't run. It ain't got nothing in it, so it's broke
Okay.
down.
Is that your truck right there?
No.
Oh. You offered me a bottle of water out of your truck. I was like, I think I'll take that up.
Well, I'm not pumped right now.
You got to go back to the courthouse to get some more water.
They're probably about to close if they're not already.
Yeah.
It's only 4.
Yeah.
4? Okay, I
Need
thought
to
it was
know.
after. Been out here a while.
So, what else y'all want to know?
That's it. I'm glad that we were able to
Yeah, me too.
kind of
Nice to
hopefully,
It's nice to meet you.
if there's somebody that comes out here, hopefully they're not antagonistic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And just remember,
My recommendation would be to observe and see if they're being
I
nefarious.
did observe for a
Before
while.
they're just-
I did observe for a while.
He said he did
And
watch
I got several phone calls, and they said y'all were over taking pictures of the vault. she called and
That's
said,
when
after
I
I
was
looked
over
down there,
here.
and I'm like, no, wait a minute now.
They went down to the vault.
I
was
said,
over
I'm
here.
pretty sure, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the guy from over there in the San Jacinto County area, but I don't know for a fact because I've never met him. I said, I'm a little concerned about him in there taking pictures of a vault, so there's really no reason to be doing that.
Well, it's an
So the
office.
vault
There's
is
just
an
a vault
office.
door.
Well, I know it is, but still, but you know, snooping around like that, you're like, what are they really doing? You got to understand, we're always looking for what is their intent. What is their intent? Or is their intent no harm, or is their intent? Because there's so many people out there that intend harm. They intend to, hell, they could care less. You know, they shoot you just as they shoot me. They don't care if I'm the police and you're an innocent bystander. They're just out to kill. They're evil. Y'all see evil people.
Well, and
You see them all day
there's
long.
some groups of people that require that before you can join them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the way the world. Look, I'm a God-fearing soul. Okay, 100%. I live my life towards to do the right thing under God's eyes. I want a relationship with God. I want it to be the right relationship. I don't know if y'all are believers or not, but I am, and I know I got to answer for my life when I'm gone from here. I know that without a fact. I know that in my heart, and I've seen what God's done in my life. I can't save the world no matter how hard I want to, and I'd love to, but I do know there is good in lots of people, and I try to find the good, but I'm always watching for the evil. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know, they can have that sheep in wolf's clothing, and I don't ever relate to that. And I don't want y'all going out here with a bad thought, tasting your mouth about me. And I'll go on my video here in a little bit, and I'll say, look, I had a long conversation with y'all after it was all good, and hey, I respect what they do.
And I just want you to know that we are just wanting accountability and to close the gap, and we do shed light on the good ones.
I understand that.
Yeah, long before I ever I was hoping I would never put in a complaint on an officer.
Did I see somewhere you were in the military?
No.
You wouldn't. Where did?
Just support.
There was an officer in Polk County that told me he was in the military, and then as far as I can tell, he wasn't. I've looked in the.
I've got a problem with that.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that.
But the problem is that the only way I can get to him, the video of him admitting it, is them turning over the cab camera, and they ain't gonna do that. I've already asked multiple times.
Yeah.
They just keep fighting it.
Of course they are. There's a reason for that.
Well, the only
He
reason
said
is he
that.
said that. They didn't know.
Yeah.
They don't know that. But and with the religion, you said the guy comes in and confesses and everything. I mean, that's the contrition part of it. I can see if he has no remorse and he's just saying, because there are people out there, psychopaths that,
Listen, I've seen some very evil people. I've seen some very evil people, and I can look in their eyes and tell they're cold-blooded. You know what I'm saying? And it's I know God's supposed to be able to change it, can't change anybody, but there's some people I'm wondering just, is it even possible this guy? Because you just look right through them and they're cold-hearted.
I got one final question.
What's that?
You ever have any reports of the tall, hairy man?
Are you talking about the Sasquatch guy?
You said
Very
it.
good.
No,
you said it.
I have never had a report here. We do get some occasional reports of mountain lions, black mountain lions.
Yeah, they're.
But this is my card.
Yeah, you give it to me.
Yeah, you gave one.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Say it.
But if you look on it, it says, "Don't back the blue, stand for the Constitution and the nation." That's a message for officers. I like you said, if I see an officer that needs help, I'm going to do everything I can to help him. I think most of the community is like that. I know there's outliers out there, just like in your profession, there's outliers.
First of all, the media
He's not right
portrays
now, as far as I know.
it worse than it really is.
Okay. Well, he's got a big problem with it.
Matter of fact,
He's got a problem with
we got evidence scattered all over the world. They're
Troublemakers.
doing it right now. They're trying to clean it all up.
Nah, I don't know.
I don't have a pen. Oh, he's got one.
Right. Okay.
What was you talking about?
Hey, can I see one of the cards? Because I'm going to write my name on it.
Back in the blues, it's if you see an officer doing wrong, don't back them. That's how we started on it, and then you were talking about just the good, in every profession, in every walk of life, there's good and bad in people,
There he is.
I'm sure there's some things in your personal life or in your somewhere in your life
Everybody's
that
got a skeleton in the
yeah.
closet, okay? I've done things I'm not proud of. I've done lots of things. I've never done drugs. And I've never done. I'm not going to go in there what I haven't done, but I'm. And I give you something to use against me here, but you know, I'm a person. I'm a human. I think all cops are human. They're all prone to make mistakes. But you know, my deal is we're gonna right the wrongs that we've done and try to minimize any we might make in the future.
I didn't try to go in there because I heard somebody working.
So what's y'all stance on marijuana? Are you for or against it? Don't really matter.
I think legalizing it would help cut back some of the.
Steve?
No, Blue, the Blue Line Watcher, concerned citizen, wears the Constitution.
Oh, okay.
Because we're the good ones.
Well, and that's good. And that's good. And that's good.
I don't know. I made the mistake of telling my brother, if it grows in the ground, you know, then there should be no problem with it. Then he came back and said, well, cocaine's technically grown in the ground, and there's no.
It's processed.
Yeah.
Okay, it's processed. I believe marijuana is a God-given plant. Don't know that he meant it for it to alter like it did.
Right.
You know, I know opium is a God-given plant. Everything is a God-given thing. I mean, he's in control of everything.
Mushrooms.
But you abuse it. I think it's your intent with it. You know, the Bible, if you read the Bible any at all, I mean, it very clearly speaks to Jesus, drink wine, we drink wine, you know, drink after this, drink after that. It just says don't become a drunkard, don't become a victim, don't let it alter your, you know, don't let it, and I think that, you know, I think some people can have a drink and not be in a acting in a sinful nature, but then I think that others, they're convicted that they're alcoholics, they should stay away from it. They were all put on this earth and got different challenges. You know, I've never, to my knowledge, ever been addicted to anything other than food. But I've never allowed myself to get that way. You know, I do. I mean, I don't have nothing against drinking a whiskey or a beer or you know whatever. I've got no problem with that. But when you get in your vehicle, and you're drunk and you're causing problems, or you're putting other people's lives in danger, or you're not putting food on the table for your kids.
Right, because you're doing that.
Because you're doing that, or you can't hold a job, then I think you're convicted and you need to quit. I think you need to grow up and not act that way. Now, law can do anything about it? No, I can't do anything about it unless you get on the road and you know, driving down the road, put people at risk. That's the only time I can get involved. And I understand that. But there's so many times where I wish we could go in there and just shake people and say, you know what you're doing to your kids?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate looking at kids and seeing them cry. And then I really hate taking somebody away and that little kid sitting right there thinking the police is the ones taking my father away and they have no idea why. It's heartbreaking. This child is
like
very
y'all are bad and it's really them.
Hey, concerned citizen, are you walking to your truck?
No, I'm not in here.
Okay. I was gonna say we can grab water from you.
Thank you.
Is he getting us some water? It's Ninja.
3. Thank you. From Facebook Live.
Probably. Hey, Ninja.
The whole handbook, right?
What's up, Ninja?
All right. I see when you popped up, I think he went to go get us a bottle of water out of his truck. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that means
But I
might
didn't
wanna
think-
sit here and talk through another bottle of water.
I didn't think the sheriffs really messed with them. I thought it was all PD. I think there might have been one deputy there, but it was mainly PD that interacted with them.
Hand it. Yeah, exactly. Just hand it.
We're still good until I know it's getting. We won't go to court again today. We'll figure something else out.
Yeah, unless he just did it. No, he was a little abrasive at first, but he's been quite cordial for the last 45 minutes.
Yep.
Now with the last people that were up here, it was mainly the PD.
I don't know who they were.
Well, I mean, it was.
I
Mainly,
saw a little bit of clip. Somebody sent me a clip of it. I don't know who they were.
I think you might have had one deputy over there, and it was PD that was.
No, 2 or 3 of my deputies showed up because they kept calling her a fat pig, and that was just uncalled for. You know,
Wow.
but they didn't show that on camera.
Right.
You know, and they were there. You're a fat pig. Can you wear those? And they were making fun of her. It was pretty.
Wow.
It was very rude.
There's a way to do things.
No, they were just being cruel. They were just being cruel, and they were just trying to provoke. They were trying to make them mad, to provoke them and see what they can get out of them. And that's uncalled for.
Yeah, it is.
No human should have to put up with that in any job. They shouldn't have to put up with that.
Yeah, well, I hope you check out my YouTube and look.
I will. I will.
My
I'm a little more interested in you now. I mean, like I said, I saw something that because somebody had said something about you, and I went on and I looked. I think you tagged me or something.
yeah.
He
And I
does that
looked
with
at it and I'm
everybody.
like, well, this article's not even true. And I didn't even read it. I just knew that it wasn't true.
Yeah, and I didn't write it, so I don't even know.
And
I honestly
so
don't
I
even know what
untagged
the story
myself
was
in it.
about it.
I untagged myself in it, and then I clicked on your name. I went through it, and I'm like, well, this guy obviously don't know. If he did, we'll kind of think a whole lot alike. Maybe not on all everything, but
Pretty close.
I mean, pretty damn close.
I have law enforcement, all military and law enforcement all throughout my family.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I know Cleat and everything. You know, I had a grandfather retire from HPD after 20 years and then worked for another 40 for Cleat. That, you know, doing the union reps for the police, larger police departments, I guess. I don't know. Trying to think. There's an East Texas one that is kind of like Cleat, but I don't know. But then I had a grandmother that was a DPS officer. I've got
Really?
2 uncles that are currently officers, you know. So my main thing, I saw how the public's perception of officers was changing, and I went out there and, you know, especially when I first started, I had a little issue at the courthouse just with the deputy chief not wanting, he just wasn't very polite. I was just trying to see if I could talk to the sheriff, you know. And which he finally granted me an interview. He was kind of like you. He was worried that I was one of those, you know, provocateurs.
I wasn't worried about it. I just wasn't going to feed it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to feed it. I wasn't going to give somebody, because I know everybody wants loot likes and, you know, YouTube views and all that stuff. Some people are making money out of it, but I don't care. Each his own. But when you're dehumanizing people and you're trying to make them a bit of bad people,
Yeah.
I got wrong.
See, we're
I
not
have one video.
And I haven't seen that with y'all, and I apologize, kind of the way I come out, you know. But again, I did not know. You know, I'm going to protect my people. I'm going to protect my people. I'm going to protect everybody that works
And
for
I
me.
get that because I
I'm
act
going to
like
protect
you a lot
everybody in the
too.
courthouse, and I'm going to protect citizens of this county. And citizens of this county, for the most part, they're very happy with what we do. So,
Yeah. There's times and situations where I'm like that too, so I get it.
but Brandon, it's good to meet you in person.
Yes, sir.
You know, I welcome this conversation in the future if y'all want to come back.
That would be wonderful.
Just let me know. Call me. Hey, coming over and talk to you.
Like your policies and procedures in a handbook or something.
No, the county's got. I sent over to the previous. Now this county attorney's only been here a little over a year. I sent over one to the previous county attorney, and he never gave it back to me. So I don't really per se have an adopted, approved through the commissioner's court. Going back to my no nonsense bullshit, old fashioned person.
Yeah.
I don't go through all the babysitting. I don't write people up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not into that. I tell them when I hire them, here's the deal. If you ever lie to me, you're gone. Because I don't need you because I can't trust you to testify in court. So if you ever lie to me, you'll testify in court.
That's right.
So don't ever lie to me. If you want off, call up here and say, man, I can't come in today. I've really got something important to do. Don't tell me you're going to visit your grandma in the hospital and I find out you're fishing.
Yeah.
Just say I'm going fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
Go on, taking my kids fishing because if I can get you off, I'm going to get you off. I'm going to let you off and let you go be with your family. I'm all about people being with their family, okay? But if you ever lie to me, we're done. I'm going to get rid of you. So I don't write people up. I don't sit down and babysit them. I don't say, well,
Yeah,
you know,
it's not
you
always
go
like-
through the proper training. You're an adult.
Mhm.
I expect you to be an adult, and for the most part, I'm pretty good at picking the ones that we hire. And all I do is I go up there and I say, you know what, this is not going to work out. I don't need you.
You picked me.
I'm just being, you know,
I
I'm
know.
not talking about you, but that's what I've let go of many people like that.
Yeah.
Now, if they're breaking the law, we're going to arrest them.
Right.
We're going to hold them accountable.
Now,
But if it's just the way they do their job, or the way I don't like they do their job, or the way they don't do their job, then basically I'm going to.
was Chris the first officer you've had to do that to, or have you arrested?
No one I've ever. Yeah. I have arrested a JP here before.
Oh wow.
I have arrested the county treasurer.
Wow.
But that was some tickets out of court. I mean, some misdemeanor deal. But they called them and said,
Speeding
hey,
tickets?
huh?
Come on, man. That's Corrigan's.
When there's a warrant, there's a warrant.
I know.
But when they send you a letter and say, come take care of it, and then you call and cuss them out,
Oh.
and they call over here and say, we're coming to get him, but I mean, we don't have a choice. A warrant is not a A warrant's not a letter saying, pretty please, would you take this person? A warrant is a
Done
order
deal.
from a judge that says, arrest this person and bring them to me. That's we work on probable cause, reasonable suspicion, and court documents. And while I can use my discretion in probable cause and reasonable suspicion, when that judge sends me a letter over here and says, do this, I don't have an option. That is an order from the court telling this office to arrest this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Or to go get them and take it, or whatever it is. So we don't have a choice.
If
Yeah.
you don't, you don't
And
do
I make
your
some people
job.
mad. They go, oh, you can't, that's horrible. You picking on people. No, I'm not. I'm doing my job.
Exactly.
You know,
if you don't, you're not doing
when you
it.
get a ticket, whether you believe in cops being able to write tickets or not, that's not a plea of guilty when you sign it. That is, I will contact the judge.
Right.
And I will either plead my case or I will say I'm guilty and I will go pay my fine or whatever they do with it. If you don't do that, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah. So what did you have to arrest a JP for?
He's gone. He lived. It was family violence, assault on his wife.
Wow.
But that's the only elected officials I've ever had to deal with. But look,
And
I'm
since
gonna do my job.
2013, right? That's pretty good for that.
we got good people here. This is a small community. We don't have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You know, everybody. I mean, we got drugs. But everybody's got the
It's
problem.
all over the country. So
Yeah.
you're going to deal with it everywhere.
But anyways, I do have somewhere I got to go.
Yes, and
All right.
thank you
Well,
for
thank you.
talking to us.
No problem.
I am glad that we were able
I
to.
am
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Change your mind
I
about.
feel better you leaving here knowing that son of a bitch. I hate that.
No,
You know what
stop.
I'm saying? I mean, you can go over and bash me all day long on your YouTube page or whatever you want to do, but I know that you and I.
Well, and that
understand
was
each
just
other.
I shared stories from
The guy you
another
got
one.
sideways with out of the last group is the one that called me 10 minutes ago and said, hey, he's streaming
Well-
you guys live on his Facebook page.
It wasn't-
the one that
Dreadlock
showed up
guy.
here? I don't know.
The dreadlock, the guy with the dreadlocks.
News now.
I was hoping it was them. I really was. I was hoping they were really they were hateful. I saw the news on the phone. They were calling that. I have a feed on them. They were telling her how fat and sloppy and disgusting she was, and I'm like, that's uncalled for. That is, and that's on our videos because they had their videos going, but they didn't put that on their YouTube deal.
Oh, yeah.
How come you haven't posted it just as a counter?
Look, I don't want to get into that with them. I mean, it's
You have other things to do
Choose
with
your
your
battles,
time, in
huh?
other words?
yeah. Well, here's the way they were talking to them that day.
Yeah.
There were people that saw bits and pieces of it, and they said if they ever come back, y'all disappear because we're coming up there. And I'm like, whoa, we don't want anybody to kill it. So, and that kind of worries me too about people coming up here. So I want everybody to know I'm going to handle it. I don't need you. The one guy come up here, I was wondering what he was doing, but I don't need you handling it. I will take care of it.
Yeah, we've taken
You
a
know
couple
what I'm saying?
fingers
I don't
and
want
hollowed
to
out
come
the
up here
car
and shoot.
already.
Well, but people going to protect their sheriff.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
get
don't
that.
want to come up here and taking vigilante justice for their sheriff. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but we're not
People
doing-
don't know that though.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? They saw the last video that
Yeah.
people did. They saw them sitting there. I don't know if they saw that, but I know what they called it. But they were rude on their cameras, and they showed some of it where they were just talking horrible. And I'm like, why do that to somebody you don't know? If I'm not giving you a reason to come do that to me, why do it? Why not come up here and say, hey, I'm so and so. I'm an auditor, First Amendment auditor. I want to know how you feel about this. Can I come out here and video?
Well, we don't need to ask permission. But
No, you don't.
Right,
But
right.
it's not the asking permission. It's just the kind of the courtesy of me not going into hyperspace thinking, is this guy here to shoot somebody or something? Now I know y'all aren't,
Yeah.
but but I've been at some of these rights before where people walk around ARs, and man, that can go to a war quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about peace.
I don't have any beef with the guy with an AR. And I hope he doesn't have a beef with
But
anybody
that's
else.
just it. You don't
Yeah.
know some of these people that might. You know, I mean, they drive by hell. People get blown off, shot, drive by shootings all the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got bullet holes in the side of my jail over
I
there
can't believe
just
that.
from last weekend.
Man.
And I don't want that out there. So y'all
No,
please
Yeah,
don't
we're
put that on your
We're
YouTube because
cutting it
I'm going to
out.
investigate
Man, I
it.
gotta go over there and
But you
take
know,
pictures now.
I've got these. Well, you can't. You're not going to see them. But I got these poor girls in there that are up until this year were making $9 an hour to sit in there and get shot at
Yeah.
No.
for just trying to take groceries home to their kids. Come on, that's crazy.
Not for that.
My cops don't get paid a lot of money. I mean, they're.
You just said you had somewhere to go.
I
somewhere to
do.
be.
I gotta go.
Okay.
I got to leave. So
We-
he's trying to get me to.
We might come back and talk to you sometime. We'll call.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Well, that's going to do it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've lasted this long, you're a true friend. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next week. Remember, stay free, America. Out.